Boss says the time reported by the punch system is law. Watch me use the law to my advantage. Not a 100% this qualifies as malicious compliance. But here goes. 8 or 9 years ago, I was baker at a popular fast food chain in my country. I always been a model employee. So one day I was surprised the manager asked me into her office. She reprimanded me because I had taken a 45 minutes, instead of 30, break one day the previous week. I remembered that day, and indeed I had taken more than 30 minutes. 31 minutes to be exact. And that was because on my way back, someone had a concern that I took the time to resolve. I explained that to her, but she was adamant that the system rounded to the nearest 15 minutes and that if it said 45 minutes, then there was no way I could have only been 1 minute late. She made it clear that it was my fault and that the punch system is law since it can't lie. On my next shift, I looked into it. On the punch system, there is a way to see at what time you punched. I realized that the system was not rounding the amount of time you worked, or on break, but rather the time at which you punched. What happened that day was that I punched out at 10h22, rounding to 10h15, and got back 31 minutes later at 10h53, rounding to 11h, hence the 45 minutes break. Now in my position, I had the luxury of choosing when to go on break as long as they didn't run out of anything during that time. From that day till the day I switched job a few months later, I made sure to go on break just after the cutoff, and back just before the next one. For instance, punching out at 10h08, rounding to 10h15, and back in at 10h52, rounding to 10h45. I thus ended up with 44 minutes break, that according to the system were only 30 minutes long. One time, a supervisor told me that it seemed like I was gone for a bit longer than usual. I replied that she saw me punching in and out, and that she could go confirm in the system if she wanted to. Never heard from it after that. TLDR. Was chewed on because of a weird quirk of the punch system. Learned how to use it to my advantage and had 14 minutes extra on all my breaks. Edit. The manager was also under the impression that the system rounded the amount of break time to the nearest 15 minutes, not the ins and outs. That's also what they tell during recruitment. Hence why I initially thought that's how it worked. The supervisor who noticed was a part-timer, not the same person as the manager. I also don't think they actually cared. Just found it strange. Before leaving, I did share the trick with a few coworkers. But since cashiers have a supervisor that coordinate break time, they can't really be late. For them, 1 minute late is actually noticed by someone, let alone 14. In the age of artificial intelligence and vast computing technology, the idea that they need to have the system round to the nearest 15 minutes for any reason but cruelty is ridiculous. Excellent malicious compliance. Microtime managers is one of the most annoying things employers can do. The manager per hour department at my last job started nitpicking the time we badged in and badged out of the building. So even though I got all of my work, was on salary, ate lunch at my desk, and stayed late, I got written up because sometimes I would badge in a few minutes after my scheduled start time. Great way to get a good worker to stop trying. Good on op for gaming the system after the system gamed him. I think is dumb how anal some managers can be. Did it affect my job performance? No? Then shut it. Had this same system at a job a while back. Started leaving at 3:53 every day. I beat traffic when I did that, and it automatically rounded up to 4 o'clock every time. When a coworker asked about it, I replied, I wouldn't play the game if there wasn't a game to be played. Punch-in systems that round to the nearest select time should be illegal. Dollar General. This was like 12 years ago, not sure if they still do that. Did this and it was so freaking stupid. She made it clear that it was my fault and that the punch system is law since it can't lie. But she admitted it rounds. So if it's rounding, it's literally lying. The funny part is, if they were to ask how to improve productivity and anyone says, invest in a better punch card system, they'll look at you like you grew another head. Just like if you were to say that any piece of equipment needs to be changed or updated. Unless and when a dire necessity, almost no job hinges on you being there 1 minute more or less. Well played gaming the system. Don't forget that you can also show up on time at 6:07 and your shift ends at 3:53. You were taking a baker's lunch. Good MC op. This is why companies have wage theft class action lawsuits filed against them. When we updated our time clocks, we eliminated rounding entirely. That said, before the update, we also knew how the rounding worked and would routinely change an employee's clock in or out time for lunch so they weren't cheated of the 15 minutes of pay. The hospital I work at still rounds to the nearest quarter hour for coming in, lunch breaks start and end, and leaving at the end of your shift. It's done on a computer. They could round the timestamps to the nearest minute, but they don't. She got 14 free minutes of work and was complaining? That's called working the system, lol. Well done. Very malicious, very compliant. Congrats on the free money. A timecard system rounding time in, out sounds like wage theft. The place I used to work rounded one way, clocking in and another clocking out. Don't think they ever got turned in for it. At $$HO13. Oh, I remember the days at 10 till people waiting 3 minutes by the clock to get that extra 0.25 lol.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.